Testes, testes, 1, 2. Just trying to do a run through here. Just a test, just a test. This is just a test. Not sure how to work this yet. Volume. How would I know if anybody's in here? 3 viewers. Just trying to work out the kinks. I'm supposed to go on later tonight with Damon V, or Damon the Fifth. So look, now you can see me. Now you don't, is that right? Okay. You get to look at 2 eels instead of the 2 eel schmeal. Now let's see. That is control panel. Okay. Let's see here. Hide or show participants. This button. Broadcast a large video that I see to my audience and hide the other video feeds. I guess. Broadcast a large video that I see to my audience and hide the other video feeds. No. Yo, if anybody knows where Damon is, see if you get in touch with him so we can practice this here. Now, how can I see who's watching? Ten watching. I see. I had to bring it up. So we got Bad Guy. Hey, Bad Guy. I'm gonna try to invite you just to practice this so I can get this shit going. All right, let's see. Invite people. Can invite on New York Bad Guy. You just noticing the 2 eels? Let's see. I think I need emails, email addresses to invite, but it says add names or email addresses. But every time I put New York Bad Guy, it's no good. Let me see if I can try to invite someone else. And some truth. 10. I'm going to try to invite Handsome Truth 10. But see, it doesn't say invite, and I can't invite. That's weird. But let's see now. All right, so right now I'm showing the 2 eels. If I want to show me, I can click that. Boom. And then you got me. This is all going to get deleted after I do this. So I'm just trying to work out the kinks. Okay. Very good. Got that. So we'll go back to the 2 schmeals. The 2 eel schmeal. Now, inviting people. That's my only problem. Anybody got any suggestions? I'm on a Mac. Bad Guy don't have Hangouts. What? I guess your channel's limited. So let's see if I can invite Damon based on his name. I have his email too, and I already sent it email-wise. Let's see, Damon. All right, I wonder if it's case sensitive. We'll try it. Damon V. Nope, can't invite. That's weird. What other name would I invite him under? Let's see. Let's try this. I'm gonna put a link in that's to my stream. See if you guys can click on that and join. And if I get somebody in, I want to know how to be able to work this so we can have a decent chat. Let's see, cameraman. Boomer tech like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Worse than boomer tech. I'm like pre-World War II tech. I'm like fucking Johnny Phonographer in here. I don't know what I'm doing. But I'll tinker with it till I figure it out. And then we'll be good. Add apps. Shit, I can't even spell apps. Let's see here. Group chat. You can only group chat if there's someone in the group. Do I want the entire screen application window? That's good. Cameraman. Broadcast settings. Okay, that's just settings. Control room. Very good. All right, so my volume's good. Hell yeah, caveman tech. Marge Talica. What is it? What it is, what it isn't. Yo, how about you talk to me? I'm Boomer Tech. Damon's last video got him on there sideways.
That they will submit.
That's all right. We'll let that slide because we love him. Where is he? Is he in? Yeah, Damon V and I are gonna have a little discussion tonight. Get to know each other. Little chitty chat, chattity chit. Can anybody? What's going on when you guys click on that link? Anybody try to click on that link to jump in here? And where would I be able to see my guests? Let's see. GDO, have fun. Nope. Cameraman, nope. Screen share, nope. I don't see anybody else in here. Where would I see my guests? Settings. Let me go to settings. FaceTime camera default. Internal speakers. External microphone. Snowball. All right. You guys should be able to hear that. Okay. Snowball's working. Good looks HT. Got the snowball working, dog. Look at the two little eels. They're great bait. I'm going to be using those little eels alive for bait on Tuesday going fishing. Oh, yeah. We hook them on live, like 11, 12-inch long eels. The fish just come up and inhaled them. Yes, sir. Testes, 1, 2. I hope it ain't 3. I hope not. What's up with that? Every girl has one titty that's bigger than the other one, and every guy has one nut that hangs lower than the other. What's up with that, man? Want to be more symmetrical, man. Come on, man. Let's see, what do we got here? Anybody get a hold of Damon? Can you get a hold of Damon, Truthy? Maybe he's figured he's got 3 hours and he just wanted to go do something. Come on, man. What is this? Microphone allowed. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. All right, so I see the basic controls here. Links. What is this? Video embed? No. What is this? Yeah, I left him a number on his vid too. I left a comment on his vid too. Well, we'll set it up and then I'll invite him at 10 o'clock and we'll see how it goes down. So like right now, if I want to come back on the screen, I got to do this right there. Boom. I can mute my muting my mic. And oh, okay, this is control room, so I guess this is where it would show if someone else was in. And then I could mute their mics. I could give them a boot if I have to. Hopefully not. You know what I'll do is I'll shut this down and I'll try another test in an hour and a half or so. Give him a chance. See if he shows up. The invite looked like it went out just fine because I used his email to do it. Let's see. Share the permanent link, bookmark, and come back anytime. So when you guys click that link, does that bring you on the show or does it just bring you to the YouTube page showing the show? When you guys click that, what goes down? Ah, I knew you were busy doing something. I sent you a link, Damon. We're just trying to test it out, so just want to see if you can get on here and we can get these things ironed out. And then we'll go from there. So I sent you an invite to your email. Look at those baits. Is that an invite to your email? There you go. We got somebody. I need to get headsets, don't I? Baits, is that an invite to your email? Yes, I do. Hold on a second.
Hey, you got me on this. You know that, right?
Yes, sir.
It's crazy.
Can you hear me?
You got to teach me how to do that.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Come on, man. I'm 10 years older than you, and I can do this shit. Come on, man. All right, let's see if this works now.
Can you split screen it?
Ah, I can hear you. Okay.
How does it? How you?
I think when you talk, it shows you. And when I talk, it shows me.
Gotcha.
I don't think I can split screen it. Let me see.
Oh.
Share controls. Eject. Damn, they got an eject button for you.
All right.
That's all right. So when you speak, it'll be you. When I speak, it'll be me. All right. First question, Mr. Truth. Did you think it was okay to come on my stream with no shirt, man?
No.
Come on.
I was just seeing if it worked.
Yeah, that's cool. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So you just click the link, right?
Yeah.
Oh, simple.
Mm-hmm.
That's easy. So then the number one question would be, where the fuck is Damon?
Where is Damon?
I have no idea.
I think he's in the chat. He's in the chat.
Yeah, he's in the chat, but I sent him an invite, and all he's got to do is click the link. Don't tell me he's Boomer Tech too, man.
He's Boomer Tech.
Damn, you know his name is one letter off of Demon.
Demon Tech.
I don't know, bro. Don't look good, bro. I don't know. Think we could trust him?
Yeah.
I do too.
Mm.
What's up, Elliot? You don't have your password to your Gmail. Huh. Well, just click on the link that I put in the chat, Damon.
Set up a new email.
Yeah, if he just clicks that link, that's how you got on.
Yeah. Well, I use Chrome. Chrome's easiest to get on.
Okay.
But if you doesn't have a Gmail, just make a new one real quick. Super easy.
That's it. Stupid easy. So yeah, maybe we'll talk about how I got my name, 2 Eel Schmiel.
Obviously, it's from fishing, huh?
It definitely is from fishing.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my buddy are fishing. I'm going fishing with him on Tuesday. By the way, don't tell anybody.
Okay.
But he's Jewish too.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Really good guy. I've been fishing with him for years.
Uh-huh.
We went fishing. I had an eel hooked up on the line. And the way I hook them, most people hook them through here and out through the top lips. But I hook them through the jaw, right across here and out this side. Mm-hmm. Because they stay on the hook a lot better. So we're dragging these eels, just drift on the drift. And they're bumping on the bottom. Oof, fucking get a hit. Wham! I set the hook. Now I'm fighting this fucking fish. Bringing him. Next thing you know, he pops off the fucking line. I said, shit. I bring it in. And the eel was still on the hook. But now, instead of it being through his mouth, he came in backwards. It was hooked in by his tail. Mm-hmm. And I dragged the bit. I have no idea. How does that happen? That's impossible.
What kind of fish?
Striped bass.
Okay.
Striped bass.
Bigger those.
You get them in California too.
Mm.
Yeah.
I
have no idea. That shit still blows me away how that happened.
I went fishing once. And that was it.
That's it? Was it a bad experience?
It just I don't know, man. I wasn't into it.
Nah.
I killed a bird one time, and I never killed a bird after that again. I felt hella bad. I had some like weird.
Wait, you killed a bird fishing?
No, I killed a bird with a BB gun. Like I just felt bad. Like for some reason it just kind of fucked with me.
Is that the root of your deep-seated emotional issues?
It might be it. It definitely might be.
Yeah.
I think consequences of a mother not coming home to feed its,
It's terrible, yes.
Yeah.
But I think there's something about a young man at that certain age. Mm-hmm. You have no idea. You don't have any compassion developed, which is why they get you young to join the military. Mm-hmm. And then by the time you do get your compassion, you have all these regrets. So that's just about being a young man. We used to do crazy shit to animals all the time. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people did. Like frogs. I remember one time back in 8th grade, we used to take a skateboard over to the school, and we called it the meat wagon. Mm-hmm. We had a bunch of fireworks, and we'd go trying to catch frogs and blow them up in all different kind of unique ways.
Tendencies of a psychopath.
I'm telling you. Yeah, I still wake up in a cold sweat once in a while.
Yeah. Well, man, I'm looking forward to you guys' show. I'm gonna get back to relaxing. I promised myself one day off from the Jew. So,
all right. Well, I know it works now, so thank you.
I want to make sure that it works for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Cool. Good luck on the show tonight, and I'm gonna have a chat with you on how to do this because you're doing this from a Mac, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me show you. Let me send you a link of the video that showed me how to do it.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
I'll put that right in the chat.
Right on.
Boom. There you go.
Right on. I'm gonna go get educated.
It's so simple. You'll be like, well, how could I not have done?
Yeah.
All right.
Good luck on the show, man.
Cheers. Thanks.
Keep naming them.
Yes, sir. What happened? I see it. No volume. Ah, there we go. Sorry, I missed what you said the last couple sentences. All right, I'm fucking up again. I think I better practice some more. I have no idea what's going on here now. Ah, control room. Did I mute my mic? Gotcha. All right, Damon. Why can't we get on with you, buddy? Are you still in the chat, Damon? Oh, Hangouts is downloading. Okay. I'll wait for you then. Just keep me posted in the chat. That's the only way I can talk to you. Would you look at those two luscious eels, just waiting to get sucked up by a big striped bass? Could you just look at those eels? Look, they look terrified, don't they? They look terrified. Shanri Ha. You're welcome. I don't know what I did. Only the gay frogs, Goku, she says. No, we didn't ask any questions. We just bottle rocket to the stomach, and that's what you did in 8th grade back in the 80s. We didn't have the internet, so we went around killing shit, apparently. But you feel guilty after a while. How you been, Elliot? I just told the story of the 2 eels. I went fishing and I had an eel hooked up. I dropped it in the water, got a big hit from a fish, started fighting the fish. And when I brought the fish got off the line, and when I brought the eel back up, it was no longer hooked through the mouth, but through the tail. And so my buddy looks at me and he goes, 2 eel schmeal. And I was like, oh, I like that. And then I started a YouTube channel named 2 eel schmeal. And the rest is history, brah. How's my volume? Any good? Not too loud, I hope. Jeffrey Dahmer. Thanks, Marge. Thanks. I appreciate that. But you know what? I never ate any of my victims, so I'm good. All right, volume's good. Sweet. Yeah, it's true. Don't they say that all these serial killers and psychopaths, don't they all have like these certain childhood tendencies? It's like abuse to animals, and then there's bedwetting. I never did that, so I'm good. What else? I don't know. Oh, Good Witch. No kidding. How you doing? Good Witch has been around for a long time. How you doing, Good Witch? You tried to keep them as pets. Oh, isn't that cute? All dead. Sucks. I'm just waiting on Damon now, seeing if he can come around. I'll tell you what, though, if you think about this planet, what goes on a daily basis on this planet, from things attacking each other in the sky, things eating each other on land, and in the ocean, there have to be billions of fish at least, right? Because if there's 7 billion people, there have to be billions upon billions of fish, right? So if you think of all the death on this planet, all the killing and destruction, that what happens on this planet on a daily basis. If you think about that, then my little frog foray was nothing, right? Think about that though. All the death and pain and suffering that goes on this planet on a daily basis, yet I'm told God is great. God is good. I don't know what God is, but he isn't good. Maybe we're God's ant farm, where he puts it into motion and he kicks back and he's like, yeah, this is fun to watch. I don't know. Give us an update, Damon. Well, I'm glad we ironed this out ahead of time. We are God, Goodrich says. God's pets, right? Uh-huh. Think about this, though. I'm going to blow your mind. In the deserts, in the forests, in the jungles, on the savannas of Africa, animals are just constantly attacking and killing each other. What happens on this planet with animals getting eaten alive every day? I watched one on lions and hyenas constantly at war with each other. Cheetahs and lions and hyenas are all fighting and killing and murdering each other. And this is just daily survival, just to be able to be allowed to procreate, to make more lions and cheetahs and hyenas that are going to then kill each other then. And you wonder, what is it all about, right? What is it all about? Who would set into motion this death planet where the humans, look at human history, humans just murdering and savagely killing each other here and there. You look at the animals all killing each other and you think, all this death and suffering on this one planet every day, and you think, if there's life on many other planets, is it like that there too? You think about our one galaxy. You have 200 billion suns plus. If half of them have planets, and half of those have life, there he is. Then you're talking about.
Hey.
What's up, buddy? Me? I can.
Okay, cool.
But let me, not to be rude, how you doing? We're gonna erase this anyway, but I'm just talking shit right now. Talking about all the death and killing that goes on the planet on a daily basis. I know it's a nice, cheery subject, right? It's really nice and wonderful to talk about. But the animals all killing each other. And if that's like that on every planet that has life in this universe, with billions upon billions of galaxies, each galaxy having billions upon billions of suns, then the entire universe, the whole amount of suffering and death that goes on in this universe must be absolutely unimaginable. So, just a cheery little thing I would. So what's up, bud? How you doing, Dame?
Hey, not much, man. Yeah, I'm doing good.
Good. I'm glad to have you on. This is easy, right?
Yeah. I'm boomer tech, man.
Yeah, me too. Well, if truth is boomer tech, I'm 10 years older than him, so I'm like prehistoric tech.
Right.
It's all good though. What are you gonna do? It took me 10 minutes to figure it out with the help of you guys, so we're good to go.
Yeah.
So when we get on later tonight, I want to try to maybe put together some questions to keep it targeted, and then we could talk about whatever, really. I think it'll be interesting. It'll be fun. Yeah. We have different life experiences. and we could compare, you know, how you think about things, how I think about things, and you know, after you do that with people, you come to really good understandings with each other, I think. And that's what it's
Right,
about.
right. Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely looking forward to that.
But I don't know, did you ever hear my red pill story on how I got red pilled about Israel at first?
No, no, I didn't.
All right, we'll save it. We'll save it for the stream. But
Okay.
to put it this way, after 9/11 happened, I had such rage and anger and hate in my heart. I wanted all Arabs dead. I have to admit it. And I didn't care if they had anything to do with 9/11. I wasn't educated on politics or geopolitics. I wasn't educated on a goddamn thing except for basic
Right,
school stuff,
right.
which is to say I knew nothing about history, knew nothing about how the world really works. And I ended up getting in an argument with this guy who I later found out was from Egypt. And I was saying some terrible things back and forth. It was 10 years ago on YouTube where you could post like private messages like this long, just long as hell. There was no limit to the characters. And we were going back and forth with all this arguing and hateful shit. But I'll save the, you know, what happened in the story to get people to come into the stream tonight.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah.
I'll save that little tidbit, but it was surprising. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know we all have our story about 9/11 and how it affected us and whatnot, you know? And
Yes.
how we felt afterward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know there was a lot of anti-Muslim propaganda going around after that, and a lot of people started feeling certain ways about brown people and Middle Eastern people. And I probably would have if I didn't go to a school that was so Middle Eastern. I mean, where I went to school outside of Chicago, there was a ton of Middle Eastern people, and I was really close friends with a lot of them. And I think that's what saved my feelings from going the same way yours did.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So,
had no contact with any people, any Arabs, let alone
right,
Muslims.
right, right.
Yeah. I mean, so I learned. Put it this way, I ended up doing the right thing, so I'm proud of that. But man, I'll
Yeah,
tell you that that whole event changed so many people in so many different ways.
yeah, yeah, it did.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
terrible.
There's so many reasons why, you know, the powers that be wanted 9/11 to happen. And the results that they got were so multifaceted, you know, with the war, with the culture clashes, with the Patriot Act and the violation of the Fourth Amendment, and it just goes on, you know.
Yeah, everything, literally everything changed after that day.
Right,
Everything
right,
for everyone. You
right.
know, we've paid the price here in America in terms of rights and privacy and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But look how much other parts of the world have paid the price for what our response was.
Yeah, yeah,
And
you have
I feel
millions of
guilty.
Iraqis.
Yeah, I feel guilty because we are the people. We're the ones who are supposed to be able to reel our government in. We're the
Right,
last chance in the world for to have a decent life and freedom and all that, and it's slipping away. And the rest of the world is looking like, come on, America, do something. Are you going to get up and do something? And we don't. And
right,
it's really sad.
right. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what kicked off the whole PNAC project for a new American century. And they've just been keeping the momentum from 9/11 rolling ever since. It's been almost 2 decades. And, you know, now we're working on Syria and pretty sure Iran will be next.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'll never forget
9/11,
that video with Wesley Clark.
what's that?
Was it General Wesley Clark, the former Supreme Commander of NATO?
Oh, okay.
He was on a talk show, and that video I saw when he said that he went down into the Pentagon, and one of the people above him had a piece of paper, and he looked at it, and it said the list of all the countries they're going to attack,
Right. Yeah, I've seen the clip of that.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and as far as there's a lot of talk and arguing back and forth about how 9/11 exactly happened, and how the details of the buildings went down, and was it a plane or was it a missile that hit the Pentagon, and and free fall speed and this and that. And I think that the big takeaway should not be how did the details happen, but who was behind it, And you have American intelligence, Saudi intelligence, and Israeli
Right.
intelligence at the least.
Right. Yep.
So to me, the intelligence community as a whole, Western intelligence, probably MI5 and MI6 as well, and probably
Sure.
some agencies we never even heard of. Who knows?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
But
I know.
the big. Sorry to interrupt you. I'm just saying the big takeaway from 9/11 shouldn't be trying to figure out exactly how it all went down. We know that it was either let happen on purpose, or they helped it, or both.
Right. Right. Um. Yeah. I mean, I think it goes more along the lines of it happened on purpose. Especially with the all the evidence coming out of Israel about it. Because if you look at the Bush administration, it seems like they were more complacent in what happened, whereas
Hmm.
it seems like Israel was more the perpetrator, the initiator of what happened. And
Right.
it just seems like the Bush administration was just like, that's what's going to happen. That's what they want. And that's just what's going to happen. So
Yeah.
I know seemed like the Bush administration was involved more heavily in the cover up than Israel, because not a lot of people knew Israel was involved. And not a lot of people still know that. I think,
Yeah.
I know Adam Green did a little street test where he was asking people, if 9/11 was an inside job. And it seemed like the majority of them said it was. And I think if you were to poll Americans, I think probably it'd be split down the middle of people that think it was a conspiracy and people that don't. But of those people, say 50% that think it was a conspiracy, maybe 5% of those 50% know anything about Israel's involvement.
And I think the term "inside job" has a negative stigma on it, like already, because there's been so many people who are seen as kooky conspiracy theorists who go around saying 9/11 is an inside job. 9/11 is an inside job. It conjures up pictures of Alex Jones and whatnot. And people,
Right.
as soon as you say 9/11 is an inside job, they're looking at you like a little askance, like, what the fuck? This guy's a psycho, right?
Right.
So what do we mean by inside job, right? Does that mean the government say, if you're a normie and you hear 9/11 was an inside job, are you thinking well, what, it was all perpetrated by the government and it was just fake? Or, I think we should say, our government at the least had knowledge of what was going to go down and didn't prevent it, and at worst helped it come along by interfering directly.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Right. But whatever the point is governments knew it was preventable, and they let it go down anyway. Whether the planes were remote controlled or Arabs really did fly them into the building, it doesn't really matter at this point. The point is what do we learn from it, and where can we go from here? Those are the questions we should be asking us, looking forward instead of backward looking.
Right. It's not important to get caught up in the details of, what exactly happened, whether the planes had missiles or, like you said, whether Arabs flew them or not. That
Right.
doesn't matter. What matters is the motive and the results, the after effects, and
Right.
what we can do now, what we can learn from it now as regular people like you and me who really care about the direction that things are going. And it's too bad that there's so few of us, but yeah, it's important that we, assess where things are going and what we can do to do our part to prevent, what's that from happening again.
Yeah. And for you guys in the chat who just came in, this is just a test run. We're just seeing how we can. Yeah, you got in here by the link I sent you, I imagine.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so now we know how to set it. We'll set it up for 10 o'clock, and a couple other subjects we could go over. Race has been a big topic with what's going on in GDL land and in other lands.
Yeah.
It's far, far away where it's nigger this and nigger that and nog this and nog that, and I want nothing to do with that type of talk.
Right. Yeah, I knew that was going to be something you wanted to touch on.
Yes.
And yeah, you're right. It's really important. You know,
Yeah.
it's really important. I was just talking with my mom about Mel Gibson, and because she was watching a Mel Gibson movie, and I asked her, I was like, I thought Mel Gibson was blacklisted for what he said. And we got to talking, and she was telling me how her sister doesn't watch Mel Gibson anymore because he said, I guess he said, you don't want to get raped by a pack of niggers to his girlfriend in a secretly recorded conversation. And I guess my aunt heard that and doesn't want anything to do with Mel Gibson anymore. And that's just, you know, in my opinion, that's just oversensitivity to the whole N-word thing and the whole, you know, like you said it right now a couple times casually. And,
Right.
you know, I'm not, you know me, I'm not tripping on that. You know, I know
Right.
the way you said it, but,
Right.
you know, how people talk in their private conversations with their, you know, significant other, that should have no effect on, you know, how people look at them, because Mel Gibson didn't know that that was going to be public, you know, and me and my mom agree. You know, I'm sure a lot of white people say that all the time when black people aren't around, you
Well,
know.
sure. Yeah, of course.
just like a lot of black people call white people cavemen and stuff when they're not around, you know. It goes both ways. So I think the oversensitivity from the perspective of black people needs to stop, and we
Hey,
need to get
blunt
more.
man. Sorry. Hey, blunt man. What's up, buddy? It's my buddy.
And yeah, we need to get more real about it. But as far as you said in the GDL, I know that the way that Handsome Truth is, and shout out to him, man, because he's done so much. The way that he's portrayed the race thing is really what's drawn me in. But it's also, and it's a really good message, you know, because all the races do need to unite for this cause. But yeah, we've come under fire a lot, you know, like in the Red Ice TV chat when we raided the other night. I don't know if you were there, but
No.
a ton of people were saying, "Oh, GDL is here. They're against white nationalism," or you know, they were saying all that stuff, and you know, it's just not true, you know, because Handsome Truth has said that yeah, he's proud to be a white guy, and you know, I'm proud to be who I am. We should all be proud to be who we are.
Right.
And
Right.
you know, like he emphasizes, the main thing is to get these people out of power. That's what's number one. That's the most important thing. And I think we should be united in that cause instead of being divided over silly stuff like who wants a white ethno state and who doesn't, you know, because that's just being picky, you
Yeah.
know, and we'll never be able to unite, you know, with people like Dingo, who just, you know, they look at Handsome Truth as, you know, a total race traitor. And he's not, you know, he's not.
Right.
I've never heard him bash white people, you know, in a
Because
way
he doesn't
that's,
go hard enough.
yeah. But, you know,
Right.
when it comes down to it, they don't go hard enough because they're the ones that still support these shills. They
Well, you
still
know,
support.
Damon, not to interrupt you, but if these guys on the Dingo side say that they're there to red pill white people, your average white normie is going to be completely turned off as soon as he hears the first N bomb, and he's not going to want to be involved with it in any way. He won't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. So really, are they really trying to bring people in the way they talk? You can talk about race with a little bit more respect. You can be proud of your own people without hating other people. You know.
Right.
So I doubt that their heart's in the right place, you know. I like that guy Dino, the guy that runs Goy Talk, but you know, there's some
Okay.
other people that go a little too hard. I think Dino's, you know, he's learning. And look, what's wrong with being proud of what your ancestors have done. I think that there should be a certain reverence for what your ancestors have done and what they've gone through. And also, you should learn from the wrongs they've made too, so we can have a full view of the future in sight. If we don't know what the past was with our own people, then how do we look forward? And, you know, where do we don't have a base to stand on, you know?
Right. I
So,
agree.
yeah,
But
there's a lot of crazy shit going on with race. And I think that, well, look at if you want to criticize Israel, all of a sudden you're what? An anti-Semite,
right.
right?
Right.
If you're black and you want to criticize whites, well, they don't really actually get a lot of criticism when they criticize whites because that's in vogue now. You know, it's
Yep.
okay to say whatever you want about white people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like it's okay to say whatever you want about Christians, but you can't say one darn thing about, you know, the banking system or Israel. Otherwise, you're an anti-Semite, which is totally bullshit, and we know that.
Right.
The thing that gives it power is when you say, "Who, me? I'm not an anti-Semite. Look," and then you bring 3 friends over and see, look, they're all half Jewish or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it
Yeah.
doesn't. If you give it power, if you say, "I don't care," that's the way to defeat it. Say, "Fine, I'm an anti-Semite. Then call me what you want. I don't give a shit," and it has zero power. Like if they're gonna call me a racist because, you know, I have pride for white people, then fine, I'm a racist. Then if being loving my people is bad, then call me bad. I don't care what you call me. It's when people get so scared. I don't want to be called a racist, so I better not say X, Y, and Z. I don't want to be called an anti-Semite, so I better not talk about Bing Bang and Boom. It's bullshit. You can't give it that power, and people just roll over so easily just by fear of being called a word.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The political correctness is just, it's gone way too far.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like you said, it's okay to, you know, bash white people and Christians when it's not okay to bash Jews and blacks and what they believe in. And, you know, I'll be the first one to agree that white people are under attack. I'll be the first one to agree with that. You know, you see it in the media, you know, CNN, they're totally complicit with the whole narrative of white people are evil, and it's just all over the liberal media.
It's disgusting. It's really disgusting.
It really is.
It gets me so fucking angry, but that's what they want.
Yeah, you know, it makes me angry too, and I'm only half white, you know. And my mom, who's black, we were talking the other day. I was explaining to her about the Kalergi plan, and I showed her the quote from Israel Cohen about, you know, how the Jews' biggest weapon is to incite the races and start the race wars and all that. And you know, she totally agrees, you know, that white people are under attack too. And
yeah, well, it's obvious.
It's a reality. It's obvious. Really happening. And
you know, go ahead. I'm sorry.
People who deny that it's happening they have to have some kind of bias against white people to deny that it's happening, that it's not happening, you know?
Yes. I like to use the balance of power analogy. In other words, I've read the history of England. It's like a 6-volume. I didn't finish the last 2 volumes, but I got through about 4 of them. And it was written by David Hume back in 1750s, 1753 to 1760, somewhere in there. And it was about the balance of power was England's point of view when it came to the continental powers. So England being separated by a large body of water, they had this freedom to be able to pick and choose. You know, if your country abuts another country and it's contiguous with it, then you can get attacked at any time. But being England had the best navy, they were concerned about the continent in this way. They had this luxury of knowing that they couldn't get attacked so easily. So the way they did it was their balance of power would be, so the balance of power on the continent would change all the time. So sometimes Germans, you know, would be the top country, and sometimes the French would have power. Sometimes it would go to Italy, and it would move around from, you know, from country to country. If you were the second strongest country, then England would support you, because it's in England's interest to take down the first power, the most powerful, because they're looking at self-preservation. So if Germany was the strongest nation at that time, let's say France was, then England would support all the other countries against France until such time as France lost its number one footing, and then they would support whoever else is number two. And it kept this balance of power. And I think what's going on is there are a lot of rich and elites. They are Jewish and Gentile who want to keep their footing in power, and they see white, middle, and upper class as the next closest challenger to that power, the people most capable of unseating them if white people ever became conscious all at once. And so they go to whoever they see as being below them or just below them, and they support them in the attack. They support whoever they could support, Spanish, illegal immigrants, black, whatever it is, Arabs, against whites, because whites they see as their next competitor or the ones capable and having the means to unseat them. And so I see that's the way it is. So if white people were ever dislodged as so-called number two, and black people moved up into that spot, or Spanish moved into that spot, they would then support who's ever below them to attack them. It just reminds me of this England balance of power.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's pretty much a perfect illustration of what's going on, because, white nations are the most advanced, in their economies and their technology and so on and so forth. So yeah, if you want to rise to power to that number one spot, then you have to use the other areas to take them down.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you look at the black vote is about 90+% all Democrat. So they vote as a block. Now, if white people voted as a block, then no Democrat would ever get elected in this country. If every white person voted conservative or Republican, then if we voted as one block, even at 60% of the population, which is roughly where we are now, there would be no chance. But they've got us divided. You see, like half the whites vote left, half the whites vote right, and they've got us all chopped up and atomized. They've got us fighting over politics, over race, over religion, over gender, sexual orientation. Anywhere there's a slight gap, they like to drive a wedge in there and tear people apart. And we've been split in half. We've been divided and conquered, and now we're being ruled. And I see, if there was any possibility for whites and blacks to see how we are both being used to hate and fight each other and to destroy ourselves and rip this country apart at the seams, and we could ever turn that anger and hatred on our common enemy, oh my God, that's the nightmare scenario for the powers that shouldn't be.
Right. I agree totally. But looking at it realistically,
exactly.
Conditioning is so bad. I mean, it's on both sides. It's so bad.
It's terrible. It's deep, and the hatred is real. It's visceral, and it seems like it's too late, doesn't it?
Honestly, it really does. And the more that you see all these people in media and alternative media and the people that everyone looks to tell them the truth, and the people that are supposedly standing up for white people like Faith Goldie, they're all shills.
Yeah.
Every one of them is a shill.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not naming the Jew, you're a shill. Straight up. You can say you care about white people all you want and say you care about black people all you want, but if you're not naming the Jew, then you're only helping their divide and conquer method. You're only helping.
It's funny. I feel sensitive about going too hard there too, because I have friends who are Jewish, and I know that they don't own a piece of Citibank or JP Morgan. Right. I know that they're not in a position where they're running the ADL or anything like that. And matter of fact, is the one guy, the Jewish guy I've been friends with the longest, he's almost a borderline Nazi, believe it or not. So in his beliefs, the way he is, so I'm reluctant to say name the Jew because I think we have to define. This is why I don't call myself GDL because GDL might disagree with me and I might disagree with GDL, and that's fine, and we could still work together. But I have different ideas on, just what Jews are we talking about? Just what ideology. So you have Zionist Jews, you have Sephardic Jews, you have Ashkenazi Jews, you have Hasidic Jews, you have religious Jews, non-religious Jews, and they, in and of themselves, are atomized to an extent too. The only difference is when one type of Jew is attacked or perceived to be attacked, they all come together and kick some ass, and then they go back to bickering, like most people do. But I was reading this book that I was reading, the ADL thing.
Yeah.
Were you around for the ADL book?
Yeah. I heard a couple chapters of it.
Well, the ADL got together with some people in the United States government, and this is back in the 70s, and the people in the Russian government at the time, Soviet Union, and they worked out a plan. See, the ADL Jews are Zionist, and they want people to come to Israel. Even though the head guys don't live in Israel themselves, they live somewhere else in palatial estates, far away from any danger. But they want all the other Jews to go to Israel. But that's another thing. So they got governmental forces on the United States and in Russia to agree to the United States giving Russia food, Soviet Union, and then the Soviet Union allowing certain Jews to leave the country in hopes that they go to Israel as far as the ADL is concerned. Back then, you couldn't just leave the Soviet Union. It wasn't allowed. You had to have permission to leave your own country.
Right.
And so what happened is they did this Food for Jews program, and the United States gave a bunch of food to the Soviet Union. Soviet Union released these Jews to like some mid-country. I think they went somewhere in Europe before going to their final destination. But what they found, the ADL found, is the majority of Jews didn't want to go to Israel. They wanted to come to the United States and Western Europe where shit was good. They didn't have to worry about attacks and fighting and all that. And so there were a bunch of American establishments that worked for Jews who were against the ADL's wishes. So you had some groups in the United States who wanted to bring them to the United States, and you had the ADL who wanted to bring them to Israel. And that's a conflict. All Jews aren't on the same page, and so it makes me more sensitive to the idea of trying to be specific about what I mean, because there are a lot of white Anglo-Saxon people involved with these Jews too. A lot of blue bloods in Europe and other places who work with them, and who maybe they're junior partners, maybe they're senior partners. I don't know who really has what. Although I would think the Rothschild family is the most powerful family in the world, bar none.
Right.
What was my point? I read The Anglo-American Establishment by Carroll Quigley. You ever heard of Carroll Quigley?
No.
He's the guy that wrote the famous book Tragedy and Hope.
Okay.
And Tragedy and Hope is like, if you're into conspiracy and stuff, that's like one of the major ones that was written. I think it was in 1967. But he also wrote The Anglo-American Establishment, and he names all kinds of names. If you ever want to hear about the Anglos involved with this, with the Council on Foreign Relations and the Royal Institute for International Affairs, they see themselves as elites, and everyone else are peons. And up at their level, whether it's Jews or if it's Gentiles, doesn't matter. Maybe there's a secret plan within the plan to get rid of the Gentiles afterwards. I don't know.
Right.
But right now, they're equal enemies as far as we're concerned, and as far as I'm concerned. So I think it has an effect on normies when you just come out and say the Jews this and the Jews that. It sounds kind of like you don't really know exactly what you're talking about, because there are so many the nuances with all that,
Right.
There's just a lot to learn, and there's a lot I'm learning. So I'm always hesitant to say the Jews this, the Jews that. I'm not hesitant. Obviously, I'm showing my face on camera to talk about the subject in general. So, but I want to be as scholarly as I could possibly be and as accurate as I could possibly be, because the accusations of anti-Semitism and all that is shit. It's coming. It's there already. You're racists. You're anti-Semites. Or it's crazy. So I don't want people to be able to attack what I think and have any credibility behind it. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, yeah, it makes perfect sense. And I agree totally that the GDL's message, when it's in its raw form, that'll just turn people off. You know, when you say Jew this or Jew that. And I totally agree with what you're saying. My aunt married a Jewish man, and I have two cousins that are half Jewish. And yeah, so I know that there's good Jews. I don't think it's all Jews, but when we say name the Jew, obviously we're talking about the Jews that are the ones that are making things happen.
Right.
And but yeah, I agree that type of rhetoric it's only going to turn people off at the end of the day.
Right.
It's not going to draw people to us.
Yeah, and I know that my opinions are going to differ, and in some instances differ a lot from what the main GDL thinks, which is why I've always wanted to try to stay a free agent. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't I don't want anything I do or say to reflect poorly on the GDL and vice versa. And so I always reserve the right to have my own opinion, to change my mind if I find different information, and to be as open as I possibly can and as fair as I possibly can. Because there were plenty of Jews who have talked about Jewish conspiracies. Like we've had Myron Fagan and Benjamin Friedman who've come out. And guess what the attacks against them were? Oh, they're self-hating Jews and we can't trust them because they're Jews. And meanwhile, in hindsight, we knew the information that they're giving us was great information. And there are Jewish people who have fallen victim to this elite level of Jews at the top who have, for example, in World War II, gotten lots of Jews killed to serve their purpose to build Israel. And so they want Jews to be fearful and we're under attack. So they come to Israel. There are a certain clique that's what they want. And
Mm-hmm.
and I think that I want to remain open to any Jewish people who agree with us on some things, but won't come along with us or help us because we seem like we're astringent to all Jews. Now that the GDL has different rules, and I'm cool with that. Whatever the GDL wants to do, they can do. I'm a free agent. I like to add information. I like to supplement whatever information you got. That's why I don't do a lot of opinionated podcasts. I like to read books because it just gets the information out there in its purest form without the spin. But I'll read and I'll describe what I'm reading as I go, and I'll give commentary as I go. But I like to just keep putting information out there. That's my attack.
Yeah, that's why I agree totally, and that's why the first two videos that I dropped were book reviews, and that's what I plan on doing is just book reviews. So, like you said, it's just a way to get the information out there without coming across as super biased or super opinionated. You're just reporting on the information that you're given, and at the same time, you're dropping red pills.
Yes.
And I think that's the best way to get, people who are asleep
Right.
awake, is to do like the way we're doing it. Because, if somebody who's asleep just accidentally clicks on a Handsome Truth video, I mean,
Yeah.
can you just imagine what would
Right.
what would go through their heads? They would think this is the most insane thing there is.
Yes.
Like, this is the most extreme thing there is.
Yeah, and it's okay if you want to tailor your message to people who have been doing this for a while and who've looked into these things and already have a calloused skin and they're not susceptible or sensitive to, hardcore stuff. But it's my opinion, if the GDL wants to appeal to a wider range, a really truly wide range, that they have to come with a softer approach. But it's not for me to call. It's not my call. If I started my own thing, that's how I would approach it, with sensitivity. And I really don't harbor that hate like I used to. I used to have so much hate. We'll talk about it at 10 o'clock on the real podcast, but I had hate for black people. I had hate for Arabs. And then I started having hate for Jews. And I dealt with all three of those and purged that hate out of my heart. And I know that hate only hurts the one that harbors it and not the objects of it. And it was stoicism that became my religion, if you will, that taught me how to deal with things logically and reasonably without letting the hate take over your soul and change you. It's the most toxic of all emotions is anger.
Right. Yeah, I agree totally.
Am I
And
perfect? No, of course not. I'm still susceptible to anger and hate at times, but it's easier for me to deal with now.
right. Yeah. I mean, you've come a long way, man. I mean, there's a lot of us go through different things in life, and that shapes the way we feel about things, you know. And
I
yeah,
agree.
a lot of it comes from ignorance, and a lot of it comes from self-hate, and there's just so many different things that can contribute to having, you know, a negative attitude toward certain groups of people.
Yep.
But
Yep.
one thing's for sure, we're at the final stop. I mean, once you know, with once you made it to the GDL, you know, you definitely you know what's up.
Now you were saying earlier, like a team up of a super team of blacks and whites together working together for a common purpose against a common enemy is unrealistic, and I agree with you. I mean, if you really think that's going to happen, you might be a naive idealist, right? But
Yeah,
here's the thing that gets me is when you know that's the purpose is to divide us, and you know that's how they're going to conquer and rule you, doesn't it make you want to try to get together with the other side and work with whatever you've got, whoever will come along with you? That's what it makes me feel like. Well, if that's the goal, if that's the design, is to divide us and to split us and make us fight and hate each other, then any message we could get out there that brings people together in any way whatsoever is against the plan. And that seems like a naive, idealistic thing to shoot for, but I think that we should keep lofty goals because that's how you keep striving. You just keep your aim high, so even if you miss, you still land somewhere above where you're shooting. I don't know if that makes any sense.
yeah, it makes perfect sense, and I agree totally. And I also think that the perspective that you and I have is a direct product of the GDL's message, and the message especially that Handsome Truth has been communicating. And it's you know, it's really eye-opening. And like I said, once you've made it to where we are, that's the last stop, you know.
Now, Tony Moravi in the chat is saying that people are too lazy to do anything that'll progress relations, and they want everything handed to them. Look, I would say this: if you knew me before 2008, and you would tell me or anyone that knew me that these would be my points of view 10 years down the road, there's no way. You'd say it's impossible. Look at the way you are. It's fucking possible. But now look at me, right? I'm trying to improve myself. I'm working on things. And if it was possible with me, then who knows how possible it is. But I know this: if you say it's impossible, it will be impossible. If you say it can never happen, it will never fucking happen. But if you say, well, doesn't look good, but let's try, who knows what could happen? I guess I'm an eternal optimist because I have to be. If I gave way to my pessimism, I'd jump off the Empire State Building, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree totally. Like I said, there's the GDL's message is it's been so motivating to people to, you know, want to work and do this stuff. And I mean, that's the whole reason why I started creating content. And That's the whole reason why, you know, I'm doing what I'm doing right now with you
I
is,
hear you.
you know,
You're
try to make some
extending
kind
an
of
olive
effort.
branch. Yes, you're trying to reach out and talk to people. Now we have in the chat Bluntman 12 Forever. He's a good buddy of mine for 30 plus years now
Oh yeah.
in real life.
Yeah.
And you see what he says, his comment, yes, he has a Puerto Rican as a good friend and brother. That's him. He's Puerto Rican. He's Boricua straight up. And he could tell you when I first met him, I thought Puerto Ricans were just like blacks, and I just lumped anybody that wasn't white into the same category. And then I met him, and then I got to know him. The next thing you know, I got a Puerto Rican friend, and it was totally against how I thought at that time. It's possible. It's really possible. Besides, most people are followers. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just that most people kind of go with the flow of what's happening. And if you are strong and positive in your beliefs, you will get people to get behind you. It can happen because most people just want to kind of get on the train, like the Trump train or whatever it may be. People
Hmm.
see something that looks strong and is moving forward and has a positive message and they want to be a part of it. And if we convey this defeatism, if we say, well, it doesn't look good, and yeah, well, it doesn't look good, but that's why we're doing this. You know, we're at a late hour here in this country. Our country is being taken from us, and we're worried about what our fellow man, our fellow countryman is doing when we should be getting together and fighting. And if we say that it's never going to happen, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Nothing will ever happen. But if you continue to say it's possible, the worst that can happen is you fail. And what's the big deal? At least you tried. You know, when I'm an old man and I'm sitting on my deathbed, I want to look back and say, you know, I at least tried to make something better of it, you know, a better go of it.
Yeah. And a huge pusher in this whole thing and the attitude that you're projecting is the fact that people are waking up now at a rate that's never been seen before because of YouTube and because of alternative media. You know, people are getting exposed, you know, and people are waking up a lot. You know, you look at
Right.
channels like, you know, Johnny Gat's channel got showed today.
Did it? Johnny got
Yeah,
1 or 2?
Johnny Gat one got showed. He
Unbelievable.
I got a notification of one of his videos on two. He dropped a video explaining his website. He's got a website now that's got everything up. So yeah, that's too bad because Johnny Gat is, I mean, he's the reason. He was like the main guy that woke me up to Trump, and because I
Yeah.
was on the Trump train, dude. You know,
Yeah.
I was watching Alex Jones, and I was on the Trump train, and then when I saw Johnny Gat, that just totally woke me up. But it's kind of a struggle between this movement growing and the increase in censorship. You know, as the movement grows, the censorship gets more serious,
Right.
and it's just kind of a battle right now. And I mean, to be honest with you, I think ultimately, you know, they're going to start really purging on YouTube, and
Yep.
they're really going to start cracking down. And you know, I
Mm-hmm.
think about that day. I was thinking the other day, like, you know, what if Handsome Truth just got like banned from YouTube, period, and he couldn't make
Yep.
any other accounts? You know, what would the GDL do? You know, who would move in and start making moves to keep the GDL going? And
Well,
that's
it's most prudent to just imagine that that's what's going to happen and know it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so we're not surprised when it does happen. And I was talking to Truth earlier tonight, and we were talking about what do we do in that instance because he brought it up on his stream last night about getting a second platform at least.
yeah, podcasts.
We need to hear information from you guys from someone or some platform, a second platform that will allow live streaming and is just lets anything go. And we can start piling up there before anything happens. And as a matter of fact, before even anything happens, we can start doing some streams over there periodically to build the audience. And I think that would be a good move. What do you think? Do you have any suggestions? Platforms?
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure about other platforms. I haven't really experimented. I've been on BitChute, but I don't know. I don't think you can go live with BitChute. But I know Handsome Truth was talking about podcasts, and that, you know, that's a good idea, podcasts. But ultimately, yeah, I think when this thing gets serious, and it's getting more serious by the day, you know, we're gonna have to figure something else out, because I know I'm not gonna quit what I'm doing. You know, you know, if there's another way to get the message out there, I'll find it and I'll do it. You know.
You know what's funny is I'm just a nerd. I love learning. That's part of it with me. But
yeah,
what I was thinking about is if we come out there and say, all right, guys, start building a second platform, and we don't tell them which platform, people are going to be scattered. It's going to be a diaspora of GDL diaspora, which is kind of ironic if you think about the Jewish diaspora.
Yeah.
But so, like, I think Handsome should make an idea, make a choice of where he wants it to be. HT should pick a platform, and we'll all start making accounts there. So we're ready to go, and we can start building an audience now, instead of having us go make different platforms here and there. This one's there, and then things get shut down, and then we don't know. We're a diaspora. We're broken up. Then you're beat.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's something that realistically we're gonna have to look at, and that's what I like about the GDL is we're all so informed about what's going on. We're just like so ahead of things about what's going on that, you know, we'll figure out a way to do it. You know.
Hey, you know, one of my favorite words is serendipity, which means an unexpected outcome while doing something unrelated. So I was talking about how Bluntman is a Puerto Rican friend of mine. I only have 3 main friends from back when I was a kid in school, and I still have them all 3 of them. And one's an Italian, one's a Puerto Rican, and one's half Jewish. And here's the serendipity that happened with Bluntman and I. Had I stayed hard and said, no, I ain't making any friends with Puerto Ricans, fuck them Puerto Ricans, I don't want nothing to do with them, and I took that attitude, guess what? About 5 years ago, I hit a very low point in my life where I had nowhere to stay. Here I am, 40 plus years old, always lived on my own since I was 17, always did my own thing, and circumstances conspired to put me in a bad position. Guess who let me live at their house for 1.5 years?
Bluntman.
That's serendipity.
Yeah.
That's serendipity. You got to be thankful for everybody you have. You never know what connections you're going to make now that can help you later, or vice versa. That's just the way this world works. And if I go with this defeatist, pessimistic attitude where nothing's going to work and why try, look at America. No. Do you see what Germany did with its country? It went from, in 6 years, they went from the most poverty and destruction and death after World War I to the fucking economic miracle of the century. You know, they did that in 6 years. Like, what could be possible in this country? You never know. You gotta try to build something instead of just acknowledging defeat.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of Germany, the rise of National Socialism and the success that Germany had in the mid-30s was a direct consequence of the purge that they had of all the degeneracy and all the, you know, when people get fed up like the Germans did, you know, in the early 30s, when they get fed up like that, that's when revolution happens.
Yes.
So that's why it's important that, you know, we need to wake up as many people as possible. Because
of course, I'm not under any illusions, though. We have to realize that Germany had something going on that we don't, and that was an entire country, all the same race, who believed mostly all the same religion, and had all the same history together. They shared. So when it came to helping their fellow man, you're more likely to help people who are like you than people who are not like you. And in America, we are all different. We're a hodgepodge of people now. Instead of having one common goal and one common purpose, one common history, and not minding to give up and help each other. We're divided, and there's anger and hatred between the races and between the religions, and it's a chaotic, unorganized mess. We have to find something that galvanizes us all. Like after 9/11, when 9/11 happened, in the couple months after 9/11, there was a spirit, Damon, in this country like I'd never felt before. I was 29 years old, and when you walk down the street, instead of this tension between black and white, it was like, yeah, this is my brother. It was, I can't explain it. It was a feel like us against them. It was us against them. And we have to try to fucking find that attitude somehow within us. That's something, that this common goal that galvanizes everybody together. And it's hard to find amongst disparate people. So we have to figure something out. What our goal is, if we could convince everyone that we're all being played like scratch-off tickets, if we could convince everyone that the reason that we hate each other is because of this other group on top who is using their money to make us hate each other, that could be the spark that lights the flame. And if we ever did get together and work together to make a new future, there could be a different outcome after that. So I'm open to all possibilities. I really am.
Right. And it's too bad that there'll never be one big event that's going to just wake people up like that. You know, like you said, after 9/11, when there was like a general unity of people.
Right.
Here in our situation now, you know, it's just a matter of getting people one by one. It's not going to happen in mass, you know.
But if we still have this attitude, and I guess I'm speaking for myself in that, well, this guy, he's not this enough, and he's not that enough, therefore he can't be with us. You're not going to end up with a lot of people. You have to appeal to a wide range of people to build any kind of movement. And of course, the downfall is that bigger movements are more easily infiltrated and torn apart. There have to be rules. Like, in other words, if you see anybody saying something hateful, like, you can just name it, and then you know that they are working against the GDL purpose. If you see anybody doing violence or recommending violence, that is someone who is a shill. Someone who's trying to be an agent provocateur, who is trying to disrupt things. There need to be guidelines, a well-defined guideline of conduct that should never be broken. That if it is broken, we could say, this person is an agent provocateur. So it's hard to tell now because it's an anything goes movement. It's young and it's growing, and who knows what it could be. Who knows what it could be? So, but I think that there is a common acceptance of guidelines that if you hear a guy talking about lampshades and ovens, that's not GDL. There should be a clear defining purpose, right? If you know, GDL will decide for itself what those guidelines should be. But if it were my movement, I would say, look, anybody saying anything disparaging, that's not what we do. We're trying to just talk about facts, and we're not trying to just paint with a broad brush. We'd like to be as specific as possible. And I think that way you can cut out people who are doing things that would disrupt the group or to bring hatred upon the group from the general public. So I think that needs to be thought about. What do you say?
Yeah, it does. And like I said, the GDL message in its raw form is only going to turn people off. And then when you have people that are really super white nationalist and that's all they talk about is white nationalism, you know, that turns people off also. So it's a fine line that we have to toe between waking people up and offending people.
Right.
So
sorry, go ahead.
The way we go about it has to be really subtle, you know, it has to be really, so.
I agree. It
has to be well thought out and well organized.
And let's not overlook where we give credit where it's due, is that if you look at GDL when it first started and you look at it now, you can see the evolution. It's heading in the right direction. And who knows what potential it could be. Maybe it's only as small as it is now because people of already have this idea of what it was as opposed to what it's going to be. And I see evolution in everybody. I see, in other words, if you're the same person this year as next year as you are this year, then you haven't really grown or changed. You can keep the same principles, but you learn different things, and that should change your opinion about things. I see HT is evolving as a person. He's going softer. The raids are different. It's, I see it's heading the right direction, and the better we go to appeal to a wider group, I think is the best way.
Right,
Without
I agree.
softening the message, without dampening the message.
Right. And yeah, he's grown a lot since he started streaming. And
Absolutely.
I told him last night that this week or last week was his best week yet. It was the best week for the GDL. I mean, we had a lot of people in the chat every night. You had Sway, Activist News. I mean, those guys are just a fountain of information.
Yep.
And I probably learned more this week than I thought I would ever learn.
Yep.
I thought just when you think you know everything, there's more to learn.
Yep.
Plus, I saw a lot of new heads in the chat, a lot of new people, and people saying, "Oh, I've been GDL for a while. I just haven't really joined the chat, but now I'm joining the chat for the first time." I saw a lot of that too, and yeah, it's good. It's a beautiful thing.
It's going the right direction, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we got to give HT credit where it's due. He's been sticking at it. He's suffered some slings and arrows for sure. People saying he's trying to bring down the internet and attacking him for what he used to do with the rap thing, calling him a wigger, calling him this, calling him that. And guess what he does every night? He's still on there doing what he has to do and still striving and going the right direction. And that's admirable. That's definitely admirable. So it's heading the right direction. That's good.
Yeah.
I think you also got to find out who's good at what, who's strong with what points. Obviously, HT is good at appealing to people, making people laugh, getting people together, and he's great for the PR part, I think. Then you got other guys like Chris Weiner, who's just a barrel full of knowledge and can spit stuff out at you so fast you can't keep up with it. You got a guy like me who likes to do narrating. So if any books come up that people don't have the time to read, I could read them online and people can hear that. You have everybody finds what their good point is. Maybe one guy like Bad Guy is good at doing things in public, and everybody finds their strong point and branches off and does that for the common cause. I think that'll help make things grow too.
Right. Yeah, I agree. We have a lot of talent in the GDL, a lot of well-informed, useful people that can really do things when they put their heads to it. And I don't doubt that one bit,
Right. I think for me, there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of paranoia, and not for bad reason, about who's a shill and who's a this and who's controlled opposition. And that is for a good reason, is that movements get infiltrated all the time. And we know that Israel has a whole bunch of hackers that sit up there every day and try to infiltrate and act like they're this and act like they're that. I think it's important to not get too caught up, like to point people out. If people were obvious shills, like last night, we learned a lot, didn't we? To point things out when you have to, but then to not dwell on it and continue to move forward. Because part of the reason that they infiltrate is to get us looking over our shoulders all the time, be paranoid about the guy next to you. Well, if you continue moving forward and just keep making content, it doesn't matter if the whole fucking world is a shill. I'm just going to keep making content. That's it. And just keep moving forward. If somebody's a shill, let them be a shill. You can't do anything about it. Nothing you can do, but they will reveal themselves, because if you have a set guideline of conduct and rules about what it is to be GDL, in other words, you say, no disparaging remarks, no this, no that, no encouragement of fighting amongst each other. So if you got a guy coming on and saying, oh, this guy's a shill, that guy's a shill, well, I'm not going to deal with that. We're going to continue on to the next subject and continue to reveal things. Just continue to move on, because part of infiltration is stopping and slowing down a movement and making it waste its energy on directions to the side instead of moving forward.
Yeah, I agree. And it's too bad that, one of the side effects of waking up to the realities of what we know is paranoia. That's just one of the negative side effects when you realize that these people are behind just about everything. Then you start thinking that they're behind things that they aren't. And that's when you get people they think GDL is an Israeli psyop, or they think Handsome Truth is, Hezbollah. It's
right.
That's paranoia. When you assume things without just baseless accusations, and you have so much of that in this movement. Just last night on HT's stream, there's a dude by the name of One Man Riot. I don't know if you know about him.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. He comments a lot, and I knew he was paranoid because the first time that I had seen him, he was asking people who I was. He was saying, "Hey, who's Damon V? Is he legit?" And a ton of people were commenting like, "Yeah, why would he be a mod if he wasn't legit?" And I was thinking, man, this dude's paranoid. And yesterday he was just doubting everything that we were doing. Like, he was saying, "Oh, why are we wasting time on Faith Goldie and Richard Spencer?" And I told him, we're not wasting time. We're explaining that these are people that a lot of people in this movement think are legit, and they're actually not, So it's important to know these people, because when you're waking people up that are half woke, you have to explain these things to them, that, hey, your hero, the person that you thought was going to save us, isn't who you thought they were.
Yeah, that's important too. Yeah, I agree.
And he was saying some other things like, what's the point of the GDL and all this stuff, and I was just like, dude, are you sure you're in the right stream? Like, if because I know what the point of it is. I know what the point of it is.
Right.
I mean, we all have a common end goal, and we have a general direction of what we're doing. When he does the streams, and he encourages there's a ton of us that are making content. A ton of us are making content.
This is some test stream we got going, isn't it?
What, are you asking me?
Yeah, this is some test stream we got going on, isn't it? Because we're supposed to test the thing, see if it worked, and we're having so much fun in the conversation, and it's going to be 10 o'clock by the time we shut the hell up.
What time is it where you're at?
It's 8:35 p.m.
Okay.
You want to get back on in about an hour and a half, and
yeah.
Well, think of your thoughts. Think of any questions you want to ask. I'll do the same, and we'll chit chat. I think the chat's going great. There's a nice little flow going. And there's so much more to talk about.
Invite in the in the chat like last time.
Yep.
All right. Because
you got
it. Like I said, I'm Boomer Tech, dude. I'm surprised I even got to do this. Like, got it to work.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's like an hour and a half test stream we got going on. How long have we been on?
All right. Yeah. So I'll be ready around. That'll be 7 o'clock my time in about an hour or 20 minutes. So yeah.
Oh, you're a left coaster, huh?
Yeah, I'm in Southern
I don't work with people. I don't work with people on the left coast. Bunch of liberals.
I'm in Southern Arizona, and it just stopped raining. Here, I'm going to show you a view out the window. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah.
But see how green it is?
Yeah.
You see that we don't have grass out here, but it's been raining a lot, and everything's been really green, and it's really nice.
What do you have, like, normally, like, it's Arizona type terrain there?
Oh yeah, I mean it's sunny like 360 days out of the year. Like it's ridiculous. I mean, we had the AC running up until maybe a week ago.
This is not going to work. I need to work only with people from New Jersey who are white, who are Republicans, and they love the white race, and they want an ethno state, and they da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then next thing you know, you got like 3 people that want to hang out with you, and not a bunch.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Isn't it kind of crazy the way people think that, this guy's got to agree with every fucking thing I believe to be part of the crew? That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Yeah. The idea is to stick to one subject, agree on it, and you don't bring up all the other stuff while you're working on a common goal, because it can only distract and divide.
Right. And that's why the GDL is so successful, because we stick to the topic,
I think so.
We're not going to argue about flat Earth and all that other stuff and religion. We don't even go there.
Real quick before I get off, flat Earth. If you want to learn about what people say and what people do when Handsome Truth isn't looking, or when the rest of the GDL isn't looking, just go into, let's say, No More News' streams from old videos and bring up the chat. Just read the chat. You want to learn about people? Oh my God.
Yeah.
So there are people that are associated with the GDL that are over there, and I'm not going to name any names, and they're talking about flat Earth, this, and they're going off on the crazy, not just I'm a Christian and I love God, but like crazy religious conspiracies and shit, which may be true, but it kind of takes away from the message. And other people in the chat are seeing this, and they're like, see, I told you GDL will never go anywhere. It's a bunch of flat earthers and blah, blah, blah. I think if GDL wanted to police their people, you should kind of look what they're doing when they're not in a GDL stream, and then you get an idea of how they're painting the movement. And I think you should cut all ties with people who are making it look like something you don't want it to be. So that would be one recommendation I would give to the GDL hierarchy, is keep an eye on people when they're not around, what they're doing, because you might find that some of these people are against,
Oh yeah.
They're going to paint you
I got a few stories on that one that I'll save for later. And
okay.
Trust me, they're really good stories where I've caught people in the GDL outside on different channels saying shit that they should not be saying.
Right.
Like, yeah, I've got stories that I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll hit you up 10 o'clock, brother.
All right, man. Cool.
Good chatting with you.
You too, man. Later.
All right, peace. That was cool. All right, boys, I'll see you at 10 o'clock.